as it is still LYON without Inspire. That's a big conversation that we're going to keep talking about, but man, LYON still looked pretty good through their solo lanes last week regardless.
So Locke still not banned just yet, so it would be interesting to see, you know, if that actually goes through. A lot of the kind of considered must bans these days are still up. Jace, Nocturne, Locke, Vayne, some of the champions that are getting kind of chain banned around the world these days. And so Locke is up and available, so we'll see if someone is willing to actually just straight up blind it. We saw it get played last week, and obviously there was that planned answer from C9 of Akali, which is supposed to be a really good matchup. Did not work out for them, but that is up and available.
Yeah, and it was interesting hearing from Quid, right? Because he was like, I actually didn't want to pick it because Akali was up. So we'll be able to track this through the draft as well. As Shopify decided, you know what? We actually want the Jace. An insanely strong pick. Technically a flex pick. We did see Berserker play it in bot lane, but he can be flexed between mid and top as well.
It's also really interesting because now if Shopify don't take it here on 2-3, then LYON can take it on 3 and throw protection bans. Right? So now it becomes a little bit more risky because you can't necessarily get that Akali matchup if you are Shopify. So
you can blind the Akali, but then it's a blind
Akali.
Akali.
But then you're blinding Akali.
Yeah, they're going to pick something else, right?
Exactly,
So I think that is kind of the question here is like, are they willing to give that over plus allow protection bans, you know, for that Locke, because Locke is still very, very strong. And we might just get Camille Ziggs, to be honest. I mean, early Ezreal, obviously, if you do go support here and then they go Locke, then you get this kind of support advantage. You can have some support bans going through. So there are some trade-offs here. And it is going to be, you know, Camille Ziggs pairs really well with Jace. You're setting up for a poke comp here pretty easily. And now I'm just curious, do you match support or do you go Locke here plus protection bans? I would personally love to see Locke. I just think it's kind of fun when we get to see the new champs come through. But Leona also makes sense. I mean, we've seen the meta kind of shift towards attacking the support pairing rather than attacking the Ziggs, right? So when you go Camille, you go Shen, or you go Leona, you go something very tanky, that when the Camille goes forward, you jump on the Camille and you actually just punish the Camille themselves.
Yeah, and we see the Shen coming through, as you said, another counter to that. Interesting that Locke dropped through all the way, probably going to be banned on 4-5 now, but both teams prioritizing bot lane a lot more, and specifically, I think, the shift that we've seen in bot lane has been really interesting to track. In the LCS, we have only had 5 total lanes where it's been in like an ADC versus a mage. ADCs are have a 60% win rate. Mages have a 40% win rate, and 50% of those wins are Ziggs.
There you go.
Because I just think Ziggs is something that bot laners were or should have already been playing. Plays a little bit more like an AD carry, but then also is just
really well
better than a lot of the other meta mages that we've seen popping up.
I mean, right now we're obviously just seeing kind of disjointed bans because it is, you know, Armeo has already grabbed his Jarvan, so they're going to be banning out some of the AD junglers here that they think are high prio. Xin going to be taken out, and Fury going to be taken out, and on the other side, you're just banning top laners. We are now assuming that Jace is going to be going top. Yeah, of course, it could still be flexed. You know, we've seen it played jungle, we've seen it played mid, but generally it is played top. So they're just banning out some of the top lane matchups that they don't necessarily want to see going through, and especially the pairing with Jarvan is really more what the Rumble is about rather than the 1v1 against the Jace.
And it seems like Armeo is really buying into that narrative that Zeyzal gave us. Better jungler wins. That's 5 jungle bans total against contracts right there. They are really trying to shut this guy down and limit that champion pool. There's not a lot of AD junglers left.
There's always so many, though. Like I just feel like it's not really that big of a deal. You can still go Wukong. You can still go in towards Trundle. You can go in Pantheon. We have Skarner. We have Kiana. We have a lot. There's still like a lot of options that you can go towards. So I feel like game 1, you know, you're trying to just push him down the tier list. Clearly, LYON's prep is that contracts will carry or no one will carry, I think, based on the bans. But game 1 of Fearless, you can never ban out someone entirely. It's just, unless their pool is horrible.
That's not what Contracts is known for. He plays a lot of things.
It's
Cassante locked in for LYON side here. Dokel going to be piloting that one. So let's see what Shopify, where they want to send that Jace, because a Vayne hover signal is not Jace top lane.
Ooh,
yeah, I mean, you could easily, you could easily just flex Jace into mid lane, right? Like, he still has a lot of really good matchups there. They can also still technically, if they want to, Yep.
Jungle
Okay.
Jace.
There we go.
Oh.
As I was saying it, we get the Galio locked in. And I was like, we could flex it to jungle.
I was going to ask, how's the Jace matchup into lock? Because that's still up, and I think theoretically LYON could lock that, but I don't know if you want to play lock into the Galio anymore. It's going to be harder to make action happen there in the mid lane. I don't know what to expect from a Jace jungle, though, for contracts here. It's not something that I've seen very much of, personally.
Yeah, it was actually really interesting watching Contracts last week, right? Because we typically expect him to be this super high kill participation jungler, like super involved with his lanes, as we see that Ahri get locked in for Saint. A Saint special, something that he does really well on. But he actually had one of the lower kill participations of all LCS junglers from week 1, and it did look like he was a little bit more disjointed. Him and Zeyzal tried to meet up on a lot of things, but they were disjointed. We have kind of the opposite happening with Isles and Armeo, with Armeo being the one kind of subbing in and Isles being the contracted player. So
This is going to be really interesting because, you know, I mean, on one hand, obviously there are 4 squishy targets here. So if LYON, you know, hit any CC on Ziggs, on Camille, on Jace, on Vayne, you can probably follow up and kill them off. But at the same time, they have a tremendous amount of damage. They have very good setup with the Camille Galio, the Ziggs ult to follow it up with Shock Blast coming in. And if the Ahri or the Ezreal die early, you have very little damage left in the comp because it is kind of a 2-threat team here for LYON. So it's going to be interesting to see how it does play out. Obviously getting a little bit fancy with all the flexes.
Yeah.
The Vayne matchup is going to be a big one up on the top side that is very good for Fudge. And if he can create a big advantage, that can be pretty nice for him. And, you know, you touched on the Jace. As far as how Jace jungle is kind of expected to play, it's generally power farm, show up, shock blast to just kind of poke through in lanes. Generally, you know, you're playing first strike and you're kind of just power farming and then showing up and being annoying, just throwing some damage on a lane. You hit an empowered shock blast on someone, do a couple hundred damage, and that's kind of just like the incremental edge that you're getting. And then from there, you're kind of just playing it out like a Jace would from a solo lane, right? It's just about that similar poke style alongside the Ziggs.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, the pair with the Ziggs is going to be oppressive, right, Emily?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing to me also looking at these two teams is not even necessarily jungle, because again, we saw both of these junglers kind of step back and power farm, as it looks like we
Might
have
be bot gap.
a
you
bit
know?
of a pause.
I don't know if
There's a
LYON's
gap
bot laner
there.
showed up today.
Their seat.
Berserker has vanished.
He's really buying into the just jungle gap. He's
Yeah.
like, I don't even need to show
Let's
up.
just let the junglers go in 1v1 this game. They'll solve it on their own. I love these camera angles we get here.
I mean, Saint was like meditating earlier. Did you see him? He was just like,
He's getting in the mind palace.
zone. Yeah, he was in the zone. He was in a flow state. But for me, it's also going to be when the supports get out on the map, right? Because I know Jack covered the catch-up XP stuff, but support roaming is so huge, and that's where I'm looking at these two kind of disparate support jungle duos where we haven't seen either of these work super well as a duo together for obvious reasons.
So a quick update, Berserker had to run to the bathroom, so you know he's taking a quick restroom break and then we'll be back, but obviously that is the delay. We have to wait for him to get back until we can start the game. They are in-game, but it is paused, as you can see on their screens. And I'm going to be pretty interested to see how Isles can actually keep up with Zeyzal. I do think, you know, Shen is a good answer into the Camille, but I also think it's so much easier for Camille to, you know, be really fast on the plays and to move around and to be able to find more action, where Shen is kind of tasked with predicting where the Camille is going to show up and answering the plays, because your offensive looks are really a lot less threatening. You know, the range on taunt is so much less than hookshot flash and some of these really long range things that you can set up for the Camille. So Isles has to be right place, right time. Post level 6, it gets a lot easier because you have to stand united and you can kind of just show up and answer a lot of these plays.
Yeah, and that's why I really do like the Galio pairing. We'll see how well Contracts is going to be piloting the jungle Jace, but this kind of mandate Galio in the LCS, I'm pretty sure Zinni was actually the first person to kind of bring it out on the new build that he has.
Didn't work great.
No, not that time, but it worked. It worked.
But he did build the item.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
He showed us the potential.
And I'm pretty
There's
sure
a big
he was
potential.
Didn't show us
pretty
the
sure
potential.
he's the
He showed us
first
the
in the
item.
LCS. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see, because I know one thing that they've constantly talked about is getting him better integrated on the team, because he does have a lot of really strong opinions on how the game should be played. And I thought he did look more well-coordinated last week in Shopify's wins.
And also, it's kind of a similar get-out-of-jail-free card that the Shen is, because both of these champions, if the enemy's diving onto one of your carries, hey, press R on them. Try and help them out. Make sure that they survive the initial engage. So with both of these, one a global, one a semi-global, we could get a lot of action happening in the side lanes. Whenever I see a Vayne, I immediately think that's where action could start happening if this Vayne's able to get unleashed and start taking over that side lane.
Yeah, and we'll see where these junglers each want to start too, to see if they do want to have any sort of early interaction. There is a world where I can just see the Shopify comp being like Camille engage, Galio on top of it, Zigzald on top of it, Shock Blast. Vayne is also there.
She's got a little flags waving up.
Yeah,
Yeah, go team.
Has a lot of space.
Vayne is killing the tanks, okay?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
somebody's got to kill the tanks.
She's probably making a lot of space. But yeah, like there is a world where we see them be able to coordinate this, and it's just massive amounts of poke damage.
Yeah, I mean, if Berserker gets one shot at the start of the fight, you expect that SR is going to win that fight, right? You know, whether or not they can actually set that up and make that happen, that is the question, because there are a lot of tools that LYON do have to keep their AD carry safe. You have the Shen peel, you have to fight through Dokla, you have to fight through Armeo. That's not necessarily easy, but again, because Ahri is not a high, consistent damage champion, if you kill off the AD carry, if you kill off Berserker, it is possible. And on the Ezreal, as safe as this champion is, if you get in range of that Camille ult, well, there's no getting out of it
shift
unless
out
the
of
Camille
Hextech
is dead.
Ultimatum. Yeah, you just kind of get rubber banded back in to the center of it as we see an early invade coming in from Shopify, drop a ward down, spot out where Armeo is going to be pathing. Emily, you were talking about
11 gold lead
of pathing.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Wow.
Look at that.
First strike.
So when I see the first strike Jace, I immediately think the solo queue thing in my mind would be just show up to a lane, shock blast, walk away. You know, you're just farming a little bit of gold
That's
off
also
that
the
first
pro
strike.
thing.
Yeah,
That's also the pro
I was
thing.
going to say, I'm pretty sure that's how it still works.
Perfect. So if that's the case, I like Contract starting topside, pathing towards the top, because if you just land a shock blast on Dokla, already a tough matchup if the Vayne's able to get ahead, and just helping out Fudge there could be the early game plan for Contracts. Let's see where he ends up pathing overall, though.
Yeah, and like I said last week, you know, Contracts was less involved with his lanes than we usually saw. Interesting, though, to note that LYON are kind of beating the MSI hangover allegations, Isaac.
Yeah, it was a liquid IV that they had right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A little, it's a LYON IV, actually. You know, they come back. Generally, these teams with a brutal schedule, right after an international, they come back and usually they start pretty slow. And especially with LYON having a sub, their big star, Inspired Not Here, a lot of people, myself included, were thinking, hey, they might have a really slow start. TL might have a really slow start, but they both started off looking really dominant, and all the players I've talked to are like, yeah, they're the best two teams in the league right now. They're on a different tier.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most impressive part is that LYON stepped up. The rest of the squad stepped up. Berserker, Saint, Dokla, Isles, every single one of them had fantastic series last week against FlyQuest. And even talking about the support, you know, Isles on the Camille was completely out-roaming Cryogen. Now he's got a lane against the Camille, roam against the Camille. But when you looked at how good he looked on the champion, I imagine he's going to have an idea of where Zeyzal is going to want to be on the map once we get into those support roam timers. Currently, it's a reset for Berserker, getting that early tier off the first back and going to start stacking that up early.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the other thing is Isles did play the Shen at MSI, and I thought it was a really nice response. And I think, again, like, the Camille should still have, like, prio in terms of moving around the map, especially really early, like at the typical level 3 swap we've been seeing. That changes once Stan United enters the picture.
Absolutely the case, but I mean, on the Shopify side, someone who had, nice sidestep there from B-Boy.
We see Zeyzal coming in, looking for it onto Isles, does not land the hook shot, Isles walks away.
Yeah, should be the end of it. Fudge had a really good week 1, and I think, you know, especially with him on the Vayne, that is going to be so important. Fudge, to me, this year has been a bit disappointing. I feel like last year he was performing at such a high individual level, even when the team wasn't looking that good, and I kind of had that expectation for him coming in this year, but he really has not been able to live up to it. Week 1, he looked great, though, both on the Jace and the Gnar, and again here, they set up this flex pick to give him the counter pick in top, to give him the Vayne into the Xante, and we're going to have to see if he can really make LYON pay, if he can be able to actually make that pick worthwhile. All of the draft is basically set up for this. You know, Jace Jungle is not an amazing pick. You're willing to flex things around to get Fudge this edge, so he has to make the most of it.
Yeah, we did already see Contracts kind of fainting up there as he finish is clear, didn't see an angle, but still, like, you see the thought process behind the fact that they know they really need to keep this Vayne safe. And get her to a point where she can take over team fights.
And you can see it's not fun laning against this here for Dokla. I mean, Dokla's already down 10 CS, and you know, we'll be able to even it out a little bit, assuming he gets all this under tower. But it's really hard to farm range minions in these kind of matchups, because generally when you step up for the range minions, that's when you're eating so much poke. Of course, in this case, Fudge is basing, so he is fine to do that. But in general, it's pretty easy to get the melees, but the range ones are really, really difficult without losing a ton of HP. So you kind of just have to pick and choose which minions you're actually going to fight for, because if you try to fight for every minion, you just die or have to base and end up losing even more.
Nice for Dokla to be able to stick around and get this wave in. Fudge did go for the reset, so Dokla will go for the first back and be essentially even in CS. It's only 3 down. So yes, Fudge got the health bar low, but wasn't actually able to deny enough minions for it to really be a substantial difference. As now we see some roams into the mid lane. Supports and junglers both hovering around here. It's going to be Zeyzal walking up first. Going to soak up some of that XP in the lane. And still contracts in Fog of War. Same can be said for Armeo and Isles. The Shock Blast will go out. They're looking onto Saint. Hits level 6. Spear rushes away as now the Hero's Entrance comes in. First blood secured for Zeyzal with the Ignite, and the taunt lands onto Armeo. It's the Rebels picking up 2.
Yeah, really, really nice setup. And again, this is what I wanted to see from Shopify. The path to a Shopify victory is this support jungle duo working better together than we kind of saw from them in week 1. So even though LYON was there to respond, it was a really nice response. And Zeyzal, right there, better jungle will win. Did you know the contract's jungle Jace? Maybe he believes
shock
in
blast?
it.
That was great.
That's
it
the
did
better
a lot
jungle.
Of damage.
That was a chunky Shock Blast right there. He's able to start it off.
Okay. I have free time still. They could be on Drake here. I
I'm
want to
slow
walk up
push.
here a bit.
No, I'm gonna take space then.
Just try to get his ult. Okay,
fine.
good, good. I'm on J4, J4,
Yeah,
J4.
hit. We can win. We can win.
J4, 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 J4.
Ari's dead too, so
I
we
can
can keep
I can
chasing.
J4, Ari,
Well played,
Nice job,
Ari
guys.
flash, baby.
Love that call from Contracts there as well, just repeating J4, J4, J4. Yes, the Shen's right there, but they made the call. No flash on the jungler, so Armeo goes down. Now, out of the replay, it is Dragon to Lion, so they pick up a neutral objective, but Shopify currently with a 1.4 thousand gold lead.
Yeah, doing really well in those early stages. I mean, they have a very powerful, you know, kind of skirmishing comp right there in the 3v3. Obviously, Zinni was level 6, was able to get a really high value Hero's Entrance. And even though the charm landed on Zeyzal, he already had the passive shield up, the magic damage shield, so he didn't really take that much early on. And they just weren't able to actually burst anyone down on the Shopify side. Zeyzal lived. They got so much value out of his initial engage, and Shopify end up with a pretty significant edge here now. You have a losing top lane that is going to be almost impossible to win 1v1, and now mid lane, jungle, support, all kind of put behind.
Yeah, and we already see LYON swapping their bot lane top, so that bot duo will be going up top, and I assume Fudge is going to move to match post this wave.
Let's see where Beav lands.
Ziggs is recalling, so it's very likely that they will try to do that. I mean, Vayne has no wave clear, right? So if you put Vayne in a situation where you are going to get pushed in, it's very difficult for Vayne to defend the tower. At the same time, though, it can be B-Boy maybe getting some alone time on that bottom tower, so he is heading right back out.
I mean, Dokla just picked up all armor. No health picked up there, so I guess they say, no, let's keep the AP into that lane and just send Zeyzal top, because as long as Fudge has the support with him, much lower chance that he gets dove or is in any kind of trouble. Shock Blast lands this time onto Isles. Has level 6 now as Zeyzal looks for it. Shadow Dash away from Isles, and he gets to safety. But pretty early level 6 for the Shen. Has not been doing as much roaming here. Gets it before Zeyzal does. I think Zeyzal after this wave might have enough, I would imagine. We'll see there as Armeo's going to clear out this ward. The grubs have spawned. It seems like both teams are jockeying around the area, as it's currently 8 total members on the top half of the map.
Yeah, a lot of people up there definitely wanting to try to set up a fight around the grubs here. Zinni has his ultimate back up, and Contract's just trying to set up and get some poke down prior to this fight.
They see Saint come out of the brush now. It's going to be a fight for the scuttle. And Shopify have full priority around that, so they bully LYON away from the top river, get the scuttle crab. Now, will they start up the grubs? They do. Seems like that will keep LYON in the neighborhood. And looking at the summoner spells, TP is available on Dokla. It's not available for B-Boy, so there could be a numbers advantage for LYON if they really want to force it.
Also worth mentioning, Isles is 6 and Zeyzal is not, so they do have that support level advantage.
Flash out from Contracts as the engage comes in from Armeo, and he's just popped like a balloon. Shopify Rebellion say thanks for the free kill, but what an engage coming in from Isles. Taunt onto 3. Charm lands onto Zeyzal. Saint's trying to make some magic happen, but Berserker's the only damage as Saint's almost out of mana. Zinni and Fudge backing away. That Mystic Shot will not land, so LYON, they will trade kills on jungler 1 for 1.
Yeah, it is just a 1 for 1 at the end of the day. That was an incredible taunt. Look at a 3-man taunt flash there from Isles. Really well played by him, but they just don't have that much damage to actually follow it up, so they're not able to really make the most of that. At the end of the day, though, it is still a pretty even trade, and 2 of those grubs are up and available still, so we'll see if they want to return and just brawl it out one more time.
Could be. I was surprised that Armeo actually looked for that right away, because he's the one that starts this off.
Yeah, I mean, it's the flash out from Contracts that really gets him. He goes in with the Flag and Drag, it gets flashed away from Zinni lands, but then that is a beautiful play there from Isles. 3-man taunt flash. Saint is around, but Saint is Zoom, and they don't have enough damage to really follow through, and Berserker knows if he shifts over the wall, he might just get stunned and taken out.
And then it looks like the action also happened bot side, just flash for flash right there. Good reaction time from B-Boy.
Yep, and we'll see them kind of resetting on the map. Now, Shopify did end up with those 2 grubs taken. They went back and scooped those up. These were our 2 teams. Obviously, very small sample size from week 1, but they both had 100% grub rate going into this game. So someone was going to lose their control
the
over
most important
grubs.
statistic.
I know.
Well, does that
LYON
count?
in shambles.
Does that account for when you get 2 out of 3? Does that count as winning the grubs, or do you have to get all 3? Because right now it's still tied.
As far as I know, it just counts as taking grubs. So that would be a 2.
Okay.
A 2 would count towards that.
Interesting.
The king of the grubs.
Statistically, yeah.
Well, not looking good for LYON then. Ooh,
Yep.
Shopify.
More examples of jungle diff. 2 grubs to 1.
Contracts really took those words to heart. 5 jungle bans don't matter. Give him a mid laner. He'll play it.
Frozen Heart already done here for Dokla, which obviously going to be quite nice against Fudge. And it's going to do something against Contracts, but it's mostly really just against Fudge there. And it is interesting that he decided to go that route instead of building something that at least has a little bit of HP, because there are some pretty significant sources of magic damage with the Ziggs, as well as, you know, Zinni's going to be dealing some damage there as well.
Damage from Zeyzal. Yeah. But, hey, at least in that 1v1, he's going to feel much more secure. Is in that lane matchup as Fudge is heading topside. Dragon's been started up by LYON. Contracts and the rest of Shopify Rebellion are approaching from the bottom side here as Saint is controlling the approach from mid. Maybe just Shock Blast steal, and it does not look like Shopify want to go for it. So Dragon secure, that's the 2nd Drake to LYON.
Yeah, that's really well done by LYON. You know, even from this deficit, they're able to get both of those. Armeo's low, but they want to fight.
Landed. They're just going to Cataclysm in. LYON want the fight. Here's Entrance. Will keep the carry alive for a little while. 1-for-1 trade so far. The knockup will land on the Saint, but he's spear rushing away. Zeyzal goes down. A double kill to Saint. Fudge TP'd in, has to flash away over the Dragon Pit wall, and Saint wants even more. Will land the charm, but not a lot of damage to follow up. Still 2 kills for LYON.
Yeah, LYON's starting to pull this game back pretty heavily in their favor. The gold lead doesn't really mean much of anything anymore. And Armeo probably knows this is a one-way trip, but he's just going to start it out for the team. Saint goes in, Berserker is there early, and B-Boy's getting pushed out by this TP, which makes things pretty difficult because the Ziggs can't really be involved. You can see he's over the back wall of that pit because Dokla zoned him out. Zokla comes in and then pushes Fudge out as well. So pretty significant plays there from Dokla, even though he's not involved in any kills or assists. He kind of won them the fight.
Yeah, it's really big keeping B-Boy out of these fights for LYON, especially since in that entire exchange, Berserker was pretty much untouched. Saint was allowed to do whatever he wanted, and we talked about, okay, what do these good LYON fights look like? These are the 2 carries that have to stay alive. So that went really, really well for them.
And I will say, if it's, you know, the Ziggs combo plus Galio ult, like all these ults layered onto one big engage, if it's only the J4 that you're hitting, that's only one member that you're using big cooldowns on, and yeah, they get the 1, but lose the fight after.
Exactly, and I mean, Jarvan is happy to give his life in a situation like that. You know, as I had said early on, it's really about Saint and Berserker, right? They are the main consistent damage sources, especially Berserker is that highest DPS champion. So if you're killing off Armeo, sure, that's great, but like he's starting off the fight, he's drawing all of these spells, which then allows Saint and Berserker the freedom to then go forward to play more aggressively as soon as those are out of the way. So he goes in, he dies, but has done his job.
Yeah, supporting cast role right there.
Hey, he said his job is to get carried. In the interview, he's like, I'm going to get on their back.
Give him a couple wins.
He was
Get out of here.
very honest about what he expected. Yeah, but no, it also just showcases that LYON really know how they want to play this out, right? Whereas, despite the fact that we talked about how easy it can be to set up for fights with the Shopify composition, we saw just last week that sometimes they're not all on the same page,
yes.
right? And especially with something like where you really do want the Galio, the Camille, and the Ziggs to really be working in tandem. Woof.
That was fun.
Ziggs, he's a fun champion.
Yeah, Berserker is going to have to go for a much later reset. That's a TP now from Saint just to catch this mid wave, and Armeo's here as well, so Summoner Spell down.
Yeah, they don't want to allow Zig to just take down that tower early. Obviously, Zig does so much turret damage. They had really good poke between both Contracts and B-Void to push Berserker back, and then the ult to delay the recall one more time. Might have been able to kill him if he hit the center, but of course you're expecting Berserker to react to that, and as a result, they do get that TP out and maybe get some lane assignments that they're going to be a little bit happier about.
Pro players do have good reaction time.
It's very rare that you see them caught window shopping. Still happens sometimes.
But it does happen.
It does happen still.
Happens to us all.
Yeah.
True.
It's like one of the. I love experiences that are shared between solo queue and pro play when you're like, hey, I do that too sometimes. Yeah.
How come all the experiences that you're sharing with them though are bad ones?
Yeah, I was gonna say the only time I ever
You're like,
see.
I'm just like a pro. I get
Azale,
caught window shopping.
I also make
I get
mistakes.
first blooded. I miss cannons.
Azale, you've played enough with me to know the reason why. Shopify Rebellion currently have a tiny little gold lead, just a hint of one, but it's not enough anymore. They had about a 1,500 at one point. They've lost that. LYON are stacking the dragons, getting to the Herald faster here, and controlling the Rift from the mid game onward right now.
Yeah, it does look like Shopify might want to try contesting this. At least poke from Fog.
Ooh, good poke right there. Now they're going to full engage onto Saint. The Hextech Ultimatum is used, plus the Ziggs bomb, and the Ignite might be enough. He gets a shield, and Saint lives! The Triumph proc will heal him up, and he gets out of there.
Zinni with a pretty big mistake, though. Zinni just kind of walked into the middle of the play and tried to use his ult right in front of LYON and just got interrupted. If his ult went off, they would have killed off Saint for sure. So Zeyzal ends up giving his life, but the mistake from the positioning there of Zinni ends up meaning Saint lives.
And that's what we've been talking about with the Shopify team not necessarily all being on the same page at the same time, or how these individual mistakes can lead to a misexecution of this team composition specifically there, where in a perfect world you have the Ziggs ult going down, you have the Galio ult coming on top of it. They should be able to get B-Boy a little bit of time in front of this turret though.
I imagine they will. Oh no, Armeo actually threatens it. Has the Cataclysm available. Does not use it, but let's take another look at that. Yeah, because it starts off, it seems like they're going to get Saint with Contracts landing the chunk and then Zeyzal going in.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be free, right? But Zinni is spot on the side, and look where Zinni ults from. He's literally ulting in melee range of Isles.
Yeah.
Like, that is just bad, right? And it's a pretty big mistake, and as a result, Saint barely lives here. The Stand United coming through last second as well. And that is a tough one. I mean, even if he just didn't use it and just walked through and landed a Q or anything, it would have been fine. Or if he taunt flashed, flashed on, excuse me. Of course, he can't taunt flash anymore. But yeah, it's a bit of a rough one.
Yeah, and I mean, he was spotted on vision that entire time, right? So they not only saw him coming, but then he makes that mistake of going to ult in, like literally in Isles' face where he can easily stop him. Also, LYON cleaning up that third Drake. So, Kangas, I was actually, before that fight broke out, going to break some bad news to you, which is that LYON are actually in a really good position in the game because of their Drake stacking.
Well, I'm happy for them.
Because of how they've been playing, and also because any of these...
I don't believe you.
any of these contests that Shopify have tried to make, they haven't actually been able to get anything else on the map, right?
Yeah.
Like, that engage from Armeo was actually so good because it kept them like pinned there after the Drake take, so they couldn't spread out on the map and do anything else after what was kind of a soft contest.
I've been really just kind of concerned about Shopify, even from pretty early on, where they got this early advantage, but then they weren't even trying to actually take these dragons. They were showing up late, and it felt like if you can't fight from a significant advantage, then you're probably not going to be able to fight at all. There's a nice little satchel there onto Berserker, but...
I thought he was going for the turret at first, but yes, he was just looking for Berserker. Was
And
not enough to
even-
take the turret.
Even with all this poke that Shopify have, they still have not been able to get this tier 1 turret down because of how well LYON have been defending it, right? And recognizing they don't want that to go down They don't want to give this map over to Ziggs. So even though you do see things like Berserker getting chunked out previously, getting chunked out here, they've still been able to defend that mid-tier 1 really well.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost 19 minutes into the game, and no towers have actually fallen on either side. Bot lane tier 1 is on one plate, mid lane tier 1 is on one plate, so there are some towers, top lane tier 1 as well. So there are some towers across the map that either team could grab pretty easily, you know, if they are given the opportunity. But of course, first turret gold is pretty significant, so both teams are trying to defend that as best as they possibly can.
Yeah, and it's pretty rough for this Shopify composition specifically to have no turrets down. Maybe I do see Ziggs in front of a turret.
Come on, B-boy.
I also see Berserker and Armeo there to defend it.
He gets hit by the True Shot Barrage.
Yeah,
They're going to walk up.
Yeah.
First turret taken, 1927 into the game. That is, when I think of a Ziggs composition, I think if this is the champion that's supposed to be taking turrets by like 13 minutes.
Yeah.
This is very, very late, and it's almost answered immediately by LYON just 10 seconds later.
Answered immediately by LYON, not only with this push on bot side, but then Dokla is actually able to push top all the way in. So yeah, I mean, for a Ziggs Jace composition, obviously the Jace is coming out of the jungle, he's not in lane, but for this high poke composition, getting the first tier 1 down at 19 minutes, especially with a Ziggs, not ideal.
It's not the checklist. When I think of checklists of champion strengths, I'm like, that's, you know, Ziggs pretty good at those.
But they did get first tower.
Yeah.
They did. True. Now,
So
how close are they on the others?
The gold is pretty even. LYON do have 3 Drakes, so, you know.
One plate in the top lane, so maybe just send Ziggs up there, try and get one more satchel.
It's definitely possible you could. I mean, the tower, actually finishing off the towers isn't really that big of a deal at this point. You know, most of the gold is in the individual plates, and they got first tower, so not the end of the world. But, I mean, to me, this game is going to come down probably to the next Dragon fight. LYON has had way better setups around these objectives. And Shopify, after those couple early kills, after that big skirmish win early, they haven't really been able to do anything. And LYON is kind of just playing a slow, controlled game here that they are kind of famous for. That last fight should have, I think, been a win for Shopify, but Zinni had a pretty big mistake, you know, didn't follow up correctly and wasn't able to kill Saint as a result. If they win this next fight, you can kind of continue on in this game. But if you lose that fight, you lose Soul this early on, it feels like it's probably cooked for Shopify.
Yeah, and we see LYON are already trying to set that up, right? With this push mid, dropping Herald there, sending Dokla to push in bot wave. Although Shopify were able to get that tier 1 on the top side, what this is doing is it's just setting up this really nice vision line that just makes it very scary for Shopify to go in and set up their own vision or set up for this Drake, as they are using the Ziggs push to push out mid, though.
Yeah, B-Boy would really love to get a second item here. We'll see if he's going to find the opportunity, because Saint and Berserker are both super strong right now. Saint is on 2.5 items in there.
Saint goes over the wall, not hit by the taunt. That was pretty scary, though. That's Flash down and the Spirit Rush used, so ultimate and the Flash Summoner spell. Big cooldowns for Saint to not have as Dragon spawning in 20 seconds.
Tried to look for a Charm Flash, I think, over the wall there, but didn't find the angle and ends up losing his ult, and now as a result, I don't know, LYON might not be able to actually fight this. If they try to force it, Shopify definitely could win out from this spot.
Big poke there onto Berserker as well. Throws up the True Shot Barrage, not going to land, so the poke is not answered. Shopify Rebellion have half health for Fudge. That's the scary one, as he's the one that has to get through the front line. Dokla, if he finds an angle, that could be scary, but again, with no mobility abilities on Saint, it's going to be hard for the damage to actually follow up. Dragon's been started now. Dokla's going to walk it back. Try and aggro it to the bottom side of the river. All members of Shopify on the top side of the river. LYON are looking for a front to back, as Isles will now separate from the pack and potentially go for the flank. Opts to not and goes back towards the rest of the team. Saint will go for the charm through the Dragon Pit wall. Isles goes for the engage onto Zeyzal, taunt in as he just looks straight for Berserker. They got the AD carry and they got the team fight. Shopify Rebellion pull off the combo this time. And Dokla and Saint, the last two members from LYON, to try and get away. Dokla will go down. Saint will escape for now, as he will limp back to the mid lane, but that is Dragon Soul denied and a team fight win, but Saint wants a little bit more! Goes on a rampage as he will outplay Zinni, dodging the charm, or the taunt rather, and is able to survive, so fancy feat from Saint, but still a win for Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah, I mean, Saint's Ahri is just kind of bonkers, right? It's one of his best champions, but that was a team fight that Shopify were looking for, right? Because even though Zeyzal is going to end up getting really chunked as soon as Dokla gets in, Saint is all the way around here, and immediately Zeyzal gets onto Berserker. Berserker is the target that they need to kill. They get the shutdown onto the Ziggs of all people too, which is really, really good. And then there's some Saint shenanigans on the backside of this, but Vayne is also exiting this with a double kill. This is a massive fight for Shopify, and they stop the Drake stacking.
I know, but I don't want to give up control here. So like, I don't know how to help.
Obviously, kind of discussing. Probably have two minds on that fight, you know. In my mind, LYON should have never tried to fight that. As soon as they actually lost ult and flash on Saint, you're trying to fight where your most fed member has no ult, and Ahri is trashed without ult. You don't really have much threat whatsoever. I mean, Saint's ult came back up, and he gets the kill on Jace at the end of the fight, which is cool, but Berserker was down at half HP. Saint was not really able to be involved at all. Almost all his damage is at the end of the fight.
Yeah.
It's kind of fake. And so,
but it looks cool.
It does look cool. But I mean, you gifted a 2,000 gold lead over to Shopify, right? And it's like, it's fine to look for that charm flash. It's fine to look for an aggressive play early. But when that doesn't work out, you have to kind of realize your place in the game. And Berserker, you know, is not able to finish off Zeyzal when they go for this taunt flash. They go for this play because Saint is not playing beside them, so they don't actually have the damage to burst him. And then Berserker at half HP gets ulted, gets killed, and I just feel like LYON kind of gave away a freebie there, and that's, I'm assuming, what the discussion was with Dokla. Maybe some people thought they shouldn't fight it, some people thought they should.
Yeah. As right now, the fight for Shopify is for bottom turret. They will send multiple members to hover. Fudge will get the turret.
Yeah, and I think the other important thing is look at where that gold is going, right? Like now B-Boy is 3-0-2. He's a lot more comfortable than when he was previously. Fudge is now up almost 2K. Obviously, some of that was just from his laning lead, right? But he exited that team fight with 2 kills on the back half of it as well. So it's these carries on Shopify that this whole team composition is designed to set up for that came out ahead in that fight.
The big combo is going to do a lot more damage now that B-Boy's working towards that third item here. I will say for LYON's side, though, the main character is Saint. He's the one with the gold lead for them, and he's got a 3K individual lead. That is more than the combined gold differential from the top 2 of Shopify's side. So he's the one kind of keeping LYON in this game currently.
He absolutely is, but I mean, Fudge has really been set up for success as well. You know, he is going to be having his third item done here pretty quickly, and his solo queue record, this is his first pro game on it, but his solo queue record 14-3.
Nice.
So very comfortable on the pick. Has
shabby.
been playing it, has been prepping it, and is set up really, really well because honestly, there's not a lot of threat for Fudge against this team. Like there is taunt flash, there is charm flash, but there's not that many different things you have to watch out for. And if they spend taunt on someone else, if you see them use charm, you can kind of just hit ghost, hit ult, and go crazy because there's not that many ways that LYON can really kill you. Like I just don't see Fudge dying without getting charmed unless he drastically misplays.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if Saint's able to find that charm, or if maybe Armeo is able to find that Cataclysm, but it's going to be tough for LYON going forward. They're still on Dragon Soul Point, and we have 50 seconds until that next fight. Shopify going to try and deny it once again, and they're in a good position to do so.
Yeah, now it's Shopify who are pushing in. Previously, it was LYON before Saint got his ult blown, right? But now, LYON have essentially set it up so that all of these Drakes have to still be fought. So if I'm LYON, I am thinking, okay, how are we going to make it so that we're in a more advantageous position? Shopify are doing a really good job of pushing up in this jungle, setting their vision down, making sure that bot wave is pushed in courtesy of Fudge. So to make it a lot more dicey for LYON to check into this.
I'd also say Contracts is just doing a great job of hitting Shock Blast. He's being so annoying for Berserker, and Berserker does have
Zeyzal just found a pick potentially here, looking at Armeo. Hexac ultimatum to dodge the damage. Here's Entrance comes in, but they didn't even need it. Armeo's just out of there. Jungler pick. Shopify Rebellion get this dragon.
Yep, and
the fight continues, though. Looks like LYON want more. Zinni still a little separated from the rest of the team. The Ziggs bombs are doing some damage here, but Dokla goes all out, gets the kill onto Zinni. Now Fudge is pushing out the rest of the members of LYON, while the dragon is still the focus for Shopify. It's a trade of kills, mid laner for jungler, but Shopify once again deny the soul.
Yeah, well done by Shopify. Again, it's just difficult for LYON to have enough damage. They think, okay, we can just burst down the Camille, but Armeo was already quite low when he went forward, and Saint goes in, but it didn't feel like Berserker was really able to follow up too much. It didn't feel feel like Dokla or Isles were really there. And if you pile in too much, then you can get screwed by the Galio ult.
Yep.
So they weren't able to finish him off. They lose their jungler, and that means they lose the dragon here once again. So Shopify with some pretty good setup.
Ooh, Saint going for the flash charm. I believe he's trying to predict something right there, as now Isles will go in with the Stand United. It's a 1-for-1 trade as Zinni will go down. B-Boy still barely alive. Berserker once more flashes in. Double kill. Make it a triple to Berserker. That's a lot of gold going over to the 80 carry for LYON.
Berserker says we are not done yet. Like, we can still make those plays. It looked pretty dicey with Zeyzal kind of coming in off the top ropes on there, but LYON were immediately ready to respond, and instant triple kill for Berserker. I feel like he always forces these plays and finds multi-kills off of them.
Yeah, he was able to find a pretty big play. I mean, this one was forced by Saint, though. Looking for the Charm Flash, he was predicting a flash from B-Boy. He thought, I go Charm Flash, he's going to flash towards the tower, so that is why he is missing by that much. It is a prediction, but B-Boy sees where the Charm is going, is able to, you know, kind of take that in, and doesn't use his flash, or doesn't flash into it, but Berserker makes up for it.
나이스. Yo, no flashing. Jace, no.
The old clap. I love it when teammates clap for you after your play. That's a good feeling right there. As these two players, man, Berserker and Saint have had a fantastic run, not only so far this summer, but all year here. You look at some of Saint's stats so far on this beautiful Riftbound-inspired stats card. 10-0-7 on Akali. That was a great
This is
stat
their
line.
MSI.
Yeah.
This is the MSI pull. You know, you're cracking
yes.
some MSI
The
packs.
MSI
These are their
foils.
MSI performances. Both these guys were huge for LYON, a big part of their success. Took down a bunch of #1 seeds, almost took down HLE. The tournament winners went to 5.
Yep.
And Berserker and Saint were a really big part of that. This one, a bit of a whiff from Saint, but, you know, sometimes your teammates are there to catch the ball when you drop it, and Berserker definitely was this time.
And you forgot the
Yeah.
most important one, Azale. 3-0 versus G2. I just want to make sure that we got that out of there.
We've done that one a
Yeah.
lot, you know. It's
Yeah.
kinda,
It's not even
It
impressive
was on the
anymore.
card.
it's just
Yeah.
another Tuesday
You know?
at this point.
But maybe people weren't looking, you know. Some people are like making food, or they're at the gym.
Yeah,
they
you
just
miss
got
it
the
'cause
audio
it's
so
on.
fast.
So you got to make sure that we repeat, we beat G2 3-0. There we go.
A couple times now.
Couple
Do you
times.
watch League of Legends at the gym?
I do.
I do, actually.
Actually,
as
I was
well.
doing that
Yeah.
yesterday. Yeah. I was doing leg day.
Nice.
Squats for volume. Can't you tell? Do
Uh,
I still have the pump? I don't have the pump still, but very sore. All right, well, I'm not doing nearly as much carrying right now as Fudge in the top lane here. 3 items completed, ready to just be unleashed on Summoner's Rift here. Nobody can really answer him in that 1v1, and he's also ready for the front to back. Speaking of, LYON look to be forcing that as they're pushing in mid lane here. They have a little trap over the wall, but Shopify Rebellion do not walk up B-Boy. If that had been a second earlier, actually might have just gone down.
Yeah, and they had an
Yeah.
idea of it. They had that blue trinket that just got dropped over by that Raptor pit, so they knew they could be playing over the wall. They were hugging their side of the map, playing towards that top side, so making it difficult for them to look for it, because Saint is very, very strong. If he goes in, he hits that charm on someone like B-Boy, who has no defensive itemization whatsoever, it is going to be threatening. But got to respect this Baron take here, because Vayne can kill this in a hurry. And they do pull off, so not going to be too big of a deal now, but we'll see if they are looking for any sort of a pick maybe from Fog.
Love these shock blasts repeatedly from contracts, even one for the Serpent's Fang. So things like Stand United, much lower shield on that. You know, it's getting a lot of value whenever you're able to find somebody out of position, get that big chunk, and stop them from blocking that.
Yeah, and I did like that little setup from Shopify, right? Like, they made sure both of their side waves were pushed in. They made it so that LYON kind of had to check into
Force
them.
a
And
TP.
even though they weren't on the Baron, we've talked about how much poke can come out of this team composition. Shock blast, bouncing bombs from Ziggs. Like, it's just really difficult to deal with when Shopify are in Fog and LYON have to check it.
I will say, though, the later the game goes, I mean, obviously Ziggs is doing more damage, but Berserker now has 6 stacks on Gluttonous Greaves, now has Endless Hunger, so now he actually has quite a bit of lifesteal, quite a bit of sustain from that. So, yeah, if you're hitting him constantly, he's going to be low, but he gets access to the wave, and his healing is going to be going up a lot more. Every one of those Qs is healing him for 70, so he is going to be able to sustain through a lot more of this, and that early shock blast has pretty much been shrugged off.
It's already about 400 health he just got back right there from hitting the wave and then hitting Zinni. As speaking of Zinni, now half health walking in. Dragon has spawned. This is once again a soul fight for LYON. They did a great job stacking those early dragons. Can they get the reward of the Dragon Soul. Shopify Rebellion are
They're
controlling
on
the
it.
approach from mid as Azazel's actually jumping straight in onto Berserker. They're trying to full send on the 80 carry once again, and they get him once again. The Ignite taking him down. No, the shield from Stand United is enough. Berserker is alive as Isles keeps his carry safe. Shopify Rebellion tried their hardest to get the AD carry down. LYON will find a 3-for-0 fight.
They threw everything at Berserker. Berserker still lived. Really great setup from LYON, sending Armeo to the Drake, forcing Shopify to come into them. Zazel saw the angle. I would love to see how much HP Berserker had.
Let's watch this one more time.
Before the shield comes in.
I mean, Berserker got incredibly low. Locket was there. Stand United was there. Exhaust was there. He full sends it onto him, but people aren't really able to get through and actually back him up. It is just the Zigzalt. Fudge couldn't actually get in range. I wonder if Fudge could have played this fight more aggressively and just flashed in, because one more auto would have killed him. Fudge tried to slow play it and then got caught by the charm. Wasn't able to flash that either. And so that is definitely a tough fight, because, you know, if the Vayne flashes in, maybe gets taunted and dies, but at the same time, Berserker is dead instantly, and then maybe you can play the fight out from there. But the fact that Berserker did not die when you sent so many resources onto him and live with barely any HP, and then you get charmed without flashing anyway, is a bit of a disaster fight from Fudge and from Shopify.
Yeah, and now look at the map for LYON, right? They're already on Baron. Top wave was pushed in, had to be responded to. Mid wave was pushed in, had to be responded to. There's really no way outside of some sort of lucky poke that they would be able to contest that Baron. And the game is fully back in LYON's control.
And I kind of feel like, I mean, I don't think Berserker's actually going to go for it, but from against a comp like this, okay, he did. Seekers, I was going to say, like, you just go towards Zonies here, and now there's no win conditions basically for Shopify, because you full send it like that onto Saint, he's just going to Zonias. Now you full send it onto Berserker, he's just going to Seekers. And that is kind of the end of your initial engage. So now you have to try to layer the CC and not just full send everything at once, but that is very, very difficult. He has a lot of sustain to this point, and they have a lot of damage with that Infernal Soul secured, with the Baron buff secured. So the job for Shopify just got way harder. They might have kind of just seen this game fall out of their grasp.
I mean, LYON did a great job getting those early 3 dragons and pressured 3 dragons in a row. All it takes is that one mistake from Shopify, which they already made a couple in the early game. And then LYON are able to capitalize, get the Dragon Soul, and Shopify Rebellion. Man, they really made you believe for a little bit there that they could do it. But from this position, you have to favor LYON. TP coming in here from Saint, a deep teleport, as it looks like they're going to just push in for this bottom turret, tier 2. Take that one down. Saint will stop the approach. As Shopify Rebellion, they're just grouping together. At this point, it's like a nice try and death ball with your poke comp.
Yeah.
Seems to be the name of the game.
I mean, Shopify, I think we're hoping that LYON were going to split with the Baron buff, and that they were going to be able to find someone with Camille and just kind of pick off someone on one side, right? That was their hope there. But LYON were playing pretty respectful. They all stayed down towards bot. They didn't play through multiple lanes. They just pushed mid, went bot, took the tower there. And Berserker not easy to engage on now. Now if you full send it, again, you have to deal with the Seekers. You have to get that out of the way early, and then you have to be able to deal with the response that is going to be coming through from LYON. And now that they have eyes on everywhere Shopify is, you can see multiple members moving back and forth through the jungle. Isles and Armeo are just kind of bouncing between these lanes. And their soul laners knock down that mid lane tier 2. Now they're going to take away the jungle camps, push out top, and they're just starting to extend this gold lead.
Yeah, they'd already set all of this up, and like you already pointed out, like Shopify are still going to look for these plays. In their game against Disguise last week, it actually looked like they were about to lose until they did get a really nice Vi engage from Contracts and were able to pull off that particular Galio composition. But it's so difficult the way that LYON are playing this out on the map, and especially since, as Azale already pointed out, it's just now near impossible to burst down Berserker like you would want to start off a fight. So you basically have to find an isolated target that you can kill, and
and getting picked yourself is not step number 1 for Shopify. LYON, with a nice charm from Saint, will take down the enemy support and have a numbers advantage.
It is step number 1 for LYON, though.
Exactly.
Now, the main engage tool there is gone. You know, Zinni's not going to be the one who can just kind of throw himself in first. He generally more wants to be that follow-up. So now LYON can press across the map here. here. They're not really that scared of them getting engaged on. So Saint is pushing through bot. Berserker could be in some trouble.
Big damage onto Berserker. He uses the Seeker's Arm Guard early and is still chunked down by the Shock Blast. That will be Stand United as now Dokla's the focus, and a shutdown to B-Boy means signs of life for the Rebellion. Huge chunk onto Berserker, puts LYON out of position, and Shopify capitalized.
Yeah, that was really, really well done. Berserker got a little bit too confident there, pushing forward, kind of walking up, I think, to probably try to auto the tower, and seemed like he took some damage from Fudge.
Yeah.
He obviously got smoked by B-Boy. Had to use
back.
the Seekers pretty early on there just to actually immune the Ziggs ult. So let's watch one more time how exactly this did happen, because I think he was just trying to siege. Yeah, shifts into tower range, gets satcheled back, taking full damage there from Fudge and B-Boy. Just a pretty big mistake from Berserker. Felt very confident because the Camille was dead. He does end up surviving, but it did mean that Dokla loses his life. And look how fast Dokla dies to this Vayne. I mean, the true damage just shreds you.
Guys, he's fixable.
That's
That
a
was a
fair
good
reaction to the
Yeah.
shift.
Yep. Sometimes you just gotta laugh. You know, if your opponent gives it to you, you take it. And Berserker didn't want to use the flash there, so instead his top laner loses his life. This gives some breathing room for Shopify Rebellion, but they're still down gold. LYON still have the Dragon Soul. I think LYON are still in a really good position, but currently Shopify control the approach to the Elder Dragon, but in goes Saint. The charm on the top laner. Fudge is out of there. Here's entrance once again, stopped by Saint. Goes into the stasis. And now Berserker's just going forward. They got the damage for Zinni. Shopify Rebellion losing their fed Vayne will also most likely just lose the game right here. LYON have the wave mid, but said they're going to peel back for the Elder Dragon spawning in 2 seconds.
I mean, that is just huge. Again, Fudge dies without being able to flash, multiple times now. Saint has caught him with the charm. I did say this is the only way he can really die. That's the only real threat onto him. But every time Saint is finding him and he's unable to react, just gets burst down again after getting caught by that charm. And now this will be Soul and Elder, and Berserker, he wants more.
Yeah, immediately gets the Elder buff, going for Zeyzal. Oh, the bird is enough. And Zeyzal dies. That's now 6k gold lead, plus the Dragon Soul, plus the Elder Dragon buff. Resets will come in for LYON, but you have to imagine this next push will spell the end of the game. Let's get another look at that from Saint's POV.
Yeah, Saint coming over the wall. He has a 6,000 individual gold lead at this point, and gets eyes onto Fudge. And this is from Fudge POV. Obviously, they do not have vision on him, and it's Charm Flash so hard to react to that. And Shopify just did not have the proper vision in the area, and Fudge was very far forward. Felt like he could get some damage down onto Armeo as he was walking in, but Saint makes him pay big time.
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel like both coaching staffs must be going through it in this game, to be honest.
We got to get Revan a helmet if he's going to be smacking his chair like that.
Don't worry, those are comfy chairs.
Okay,
There's
fair
lots
enough.
of cushioning.
Fair enough.
Very ergonomic.
He's also got the great head of hair, too, to give him extra padding.
Another thing I liked from that fight was how Dokla was dealing with making sure that Contracts and B-Boy really couldn't participate as well on the very bottom side of it. Because, again, you kind of have to spread apart the targets to make room for Saint. And I think in some of these team fights, LYON have done a really excellent job of that.
They have, and I mean, this is kind of like two sides of the same coin. If Fudge dies, Dokla is not under threat from anyone, right? If Fudge is free hitting on Dokla, Dokla dies instantly. But as soon as Fudge is dead, Dokla's just going to run at your carries and create infinite space for Saint and Berserker. There's no other threat. No one can deal with him. It's going to take forever for a Ziggs or a Jace to actually kill him off. So here goes.
Oh, Saint with another masterclass solo kill under the top turret. They're just siling on him at this point. I mean, the work's been done. Yeah, this is a ridiculous carry performance from Saint as Fudge will try for the outplay, is able to dodge away from Armeo, still knocked up by the hero's entrance. Berserker goes into the stasis as Armeo's diving under the turret into the GA. Saint still alive, Berserker still alive. This is still the end of the game, but Shopify are at least making him work for it for a little while longer. Armeo now joins the team on a rampage here, as 4 will fall from the Rebellion. It's only Contracts left alive. LYON can walk in the Baron-empowered waves and close it out. GG, LYON will take game number 1. Do they want to die for it? Do they want to go for it? They have the Elder buff. Shut down onto Armeo, trying to get Contracts. Oh, the Elder has expired, but Berserker gets the double and the ace for a game 1 win.
Orianna is banned, but Nocturne is taken.
Yeah, Nocturne is taken, and it's a really interesting pick because they banned the Akali. Lock is up. The Akali answer is not up, but It's an interesting like draft choice, although now they just locked in Rise. So I guess we're not going to see Lock or Saint or Berserker are going to pilot it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be pretty exciting to see if they want to go for it, but obviously the draft pile wasn't super high in it last game, so I'm kind of starting to get the vibe that it might just be going through. Might just get Lucian Melio with the Lucian locked in, so that is going to come through. So securing a really powerful bot lane duo for Berserker and Isles, and Berserker is such a reliable win con for the team. And I feel like Isles is so good on Enchanters. People always like to meme about Enchanters, how they just play themselves. There's not really any skill expression, but this guy has really good timing on his peel, really good timing on his abilities. His positioning is very, very good. I feel like he is on point. And especially when he's playing champions like Lulu, you know, like his Wild Growths even
I actually
are used
think his
to
Lulu is cracked.
interrupt
Even like
dashes
himself,
constantly.
Mikhail's are pretty good.
Yeah. We see the Nautilus locked in for Zeyzal, another pick that he's going to want to get out and roam on the map, as opposed to dealing with this really oppressive Lucian Melio. I was wondering if Shopify might opt into something like the Cog Lulu or kind of answers in lane that we've seen, but they're going to, as it looks like from here anyway, try to keep Zeyzal detached and moving around the map.
I'm going to be really interested to see what they want to actually go for here. You know, does LYON ban out mages, like mage pairings with the Nautilus? Because if the Nautilus wants to roam, you have to have something that's self-sufficient, you know, in that 1v2, because you cannot be roaming if your bot laner is just getting dove on repeat, right? So that is something that they have to really think about. So when I think about some of the safe pairings, you know, there are things like, you know, if you want to go wave clear heavy, you can go towards some of those mages. You can play things like Victor bot or even like Syndra bot, which can be pretty effective at just kind of clearing waves and staying safe. Volibear ban is very interesting and does feel like a nod towards top lane. So I'm kind of thinking like, what would Dokka be playing that he's scared of Volibear? And that makes me think of like Ambessa, for example. So maybe he's trying to open the door for Ambessa, and Fudge has been playing some Volley. And there is that Syndra ban, so it's actually going to be Shopify banning it out here for mid lane. Obviously, it is a pretty good answer into Rise.
They had hovered the Victor earlier. They didn't lock it in. They locked the Nautilus instead. So Lions still have one opportunity to at least ban out that mage. Let's see if they opt for it.
And maybe they're not concerned about it at all, right? You know, maybe it's not going to be an issue for them. But, you know, when I think about what Nautilus wants to do, he really does not want to play the 2v2. He generally wants to roam. So, you know, I think about trying to force B-Boy onto a champion that we can punish.
Yeah, I think unless the ban comes through here, it's...
There's Victor.
Yeah, there we go.
Makes
I was going to
sense.
say, because they had hovered the Victor previously too,
Yep.
then locked in the Nautilus. I know you're not supposed to pay attention to hovers, but I did think it would have been a good pick, right? For all of the reasons.
Also, historically,
Zale just said.
NA Lucians have not done great into Victors, so that's been...
Berserker's a very good
Yeah,
Lucian.
look, I trust Berserker.
So
I trust Berserker,
Our
Isles,
Lucians
Lucian
are on the
Melio.
up and up.
Okay,
Jace,
there we go.
NA
You know-
Lucian, it's an old meme. It no longer
This is
checks
improvement
out.
for the region. Okay.
Is NAJ still a meme?
No.
I know,
Actually,
it's not.
We're
I
scaling.
think that's done as well. MF Nautilus is another response that I remember seeing a ton of in LPL specifically when Lucian Melio became super, super oppressive and kind of the super high prio pick. And that is what Shopify will be going for, and then saving that counter pick for top lane. Alternatively, they could always flex Rise into the top lane as well if they really wanted to.
But does this match the expectation of allowing the Nautilus to roam around then? Because when I think Misfortune, it's low mobility. It's like you can use your ult to wave clear, but it's not that same level of like a mage that can just delete a wave. Right?
No, you definitely can't delete a wave, but you can get prio in a lot of these matchups. MF has a really strong early lane, so sometimes getting push is enough. I really like this Olaf Annie as their last two with the pairing alongside Nocturne, because Nocturne turns off the lights and all of a sudden Annie's flashing over a wall, stunning you up. Olaf is ghosted and ulting in on you. And that is pretty crazy, but this is a blind Olaf, right? So that is the other side of that. You know, he's kind of saying, you know what, you can't punish me. Volibear was what I was worried about. I'm not worried about anything else. It is going to be Jax, which is a great answer into the Olaf, because it's, he can ult out of your Counter-Strike, but you just leave the Counter-Strike running.
Yeah,
you actually
auto you still.
You never early Counter-Strike. You just pop that, and between that and your ult, all the resistances you're getting, it is very difficult for Olaf to actually burst down the Jax because you are so auto-attack based. So you do have really good answers as far as that is concerned. Obviously, you're going to be able to Counter-Strike block autos from Lucian, from the Nocturne as well. So Jax is going to be quite resilient in that. But that being said, you do have the Nocturne in your back pocket, so you know it can be difficult if you're getting jumped on and kind of being put behind.
Yeah, and this is the first pick where we did call out some of Armeo's like J4 ults in terms of being really, really good in the way that they like separated out priority targets. But this is a lot more in his hands, right? As an initiator. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they control the CC on this team. If he's going to be the one making those calls, still kind of integrating himself here. Doesn't really fit the whole like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna sit back and like let myself be carried.
He kind of has to get in there
from his interview, right? Yeah, because he does. He absolutely has to get in there.
Which also was the story of game number 1. It was his body for the win. You know, he was throwing himself in there just to make sure that nobody else could follow up, and he was the only one dying. Nocturne, sometimes the same can happen, because if you ult in, it might just be a one-way journey if you don't have that like Orianna combo. Obviously, we already highlighted the positives of like an Annie being able to get in there too.
He does have the Melio too.
True.
For healing and shielding, right?
All right, let's guess right now. Over under. Armeo 5 deaths. Thinking more or 5.5. Let's go 5.5.
Under. Easy under.
Under? Okay.
Yeah, easy under.
All right.
I don't think the pace of the game is going to be fast enough that he's going to even have a chance to get that many deaths.
Yeah, I
they
also
have been
see
playing fast games last week.
You see a world win or lose.
Last game.
Yeah.
Last
game was a return
omit those stats. You know, we have a graphic for last week's stats. We don't have a graphic for this week's stats.
That's called designing stats to suit your own personal narrative.
Yeah, isn't that our job?
Which we are not supposed to do. Well, yeah, or alternatively, it's all of our job.
Emily's like, we're not supposed to do that, and Kangas is like, isn't that our job?
I got a different memo.
Look,
I'm trying to be honest.
Yeah, you were a journalist first year. As
the real question, though, this is the question. As a journalist, always you have to ask the hard questions.
Okay.
Should they just keep Armeo?
100%
win rate, 3-0.
Look at
a
that,
paltry
Azale.
63% win rate with Inspired.
The stats that are not specious at all. Tell me.
Inspired shaking in his boots. May come home to no job.
Yeah, Lions moved on from this one. Exhaust early from Dokla, taking the combat summoner spell top lane. So that will be Fudge and Ignite, or rather Flash and Ignite out of Fudge.
Fudge and Ignite,
yeah.
that's
Fudge
true.
and Ignite.
The point stands. Yeah. And now it's a Flash advantage here for Dokla. And Dokla is trying to make sure that Fudge can't actually get the wave in here. Fudge needs his Counter-Strike back desperately, but that is a pretty spicy top lane. Ignite Flash versus Flash Exhaust. He's trying to bait out the Counter-Strike early, but Dokla is basically out of mana now, so Dokla needs level 3 to even try to threaten a fight here. So I think Fudge has successfully gotten the wave in and will avert disaster, uses both his sums, but gets it in.
Ooh, and a potential dive coming in here. Great from Zazel and B-Boy. Flash away, trying to get damage back into Isles, and that is a double kill for Shopify, but first blood to Berserker, 1-for-2 trade in the bot lane.
This reminds me a lot of what we saw in week 1, right? Where they have the push, they're going to go for this dive. I believe, yeah, Zazel just hooks Berserker, and he decides he's just going to go in onto B-Boy anyway. Turret damage kind of does the rest there. But that reminds me of the play where Berserker's just diving forward on Cassio to try to get onto Matsu.
And I mean, it looks silly, but they actually screwed him on the wave. I want to go back bot because we denied a full wave on that dive, and then the wave is pushing away from him. So that is actually super worth, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Look how many more minions there are for Berserker to farm. So that is kind of the untold story. You're like, you went 1-for-2, dummies. Well, you denied a lot of experience. You're denying a lot of gold as well. And there's a bit of a better buy here for Berserker. He got double longsword, and now the wave is pushing away from you, and you may just get stuck into a position where you have to fight again.
Goes for another trade there. Zazel pulls him back into the minion wave, but I mean, yeah, with the Melio behind him, warm hugs, Berserker is fine.
Yeah, and now B-Boy, it's going to get even worse, because now they have him chunked, and you can see Nocturne is moving in on potential invade. They're trying to push it in and see if they can even threaten a redive here. Nautilus has got to go help him out. Was that a flash from Dokla? I think it might have been.
Yeah, Dokla right now in the 1v1 pushing in. Can't quite see if he's got that summoner yet, but we'll give an update on that in a moment here. I was looking bot side to see how much more damage would come through.
He flashed away from the Counter-Strike. That's what I thought. So Fudge, this is the thing. That Ignite is a shorter cooldown than Exhaust. So if you trade Ignite for Exhaust as a top laner, you want to try to force an all-in before the Exhaust is back up. So Fudge is trying to set this up.
Taking a lot of damage now. One more Undertow might be enough. It's not as the stun comes in, but Dokla still lives through it. One more bonk. A margin of error so slim.
He just needed to wait. He just needed to wait. It's like a couple seconds and he wins that.
Oh, that's tough. And now the Ignite is up as he respawns onto the map. Now Armeo's looking for a play bot side here. Flash forward from Berserker. B-Boy pops the barrier and still goes down. Armeo gets the kill there. Zazel's going to follow. LYON pounce in the bot lane and get 2 kills.
Yeah, and this was kind of set up a little bit with that earlier play of Berserker and Isles getting themselves into a really good position. This is also why I believe in Berserker's Lucian, right? He's playing this so aggressively, as you should, right? Like, you really want to bully your opponents out of lane, as we're going to take a look at this top lane play again.
Yeah, this fight one more time. I just feel like it is a pretty good angle from Fudge. Obviously, the Q through with the axe did take him down. You know, that goes through the Counter-Strike. But he just needed to wait for Ignite. The Ignite was a couple seconds off. I just feel like he went too early. You know that it is a shorter cooldown than Exhaust.
Yeah.
Dokla with no reaction.
Dokla didn't even react. He's just chilling.
He's just chilling, man. But that is big for Dokla. And I want to talk a little bit about the fun that Berserker's been having in the bot lane.
Yeah, he's been having a lot of fun.
But Dad's coming home soon, and the fun might be over. So these kind of shenanigans, Inspire might be...
He's got to get it in.
Exactly.
Inspire's got the belt ready.
You need to get diving. You need to get your Jace picks in. You need to do some inting because Inspired's going to be having none of it.
Well, Berserker's looking for more of it right now as he's chasing forward and will find another kill.
Oh my god.
Isles keeping his 80 carry alive forever as that Undertow not going to land. Berserker's just going to go back forward. Zazel goes down. That's a double kill to Berserker.
That is beautifully played there by the LYON bot lane, and now it is a big CS lead. It is 4 kills to 1, and Berserker already 1,000 gold ahead here at 6 minutes. The real story, Armeo about to go to 4-0.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe we just let Berserker take over the team.
Berserker is now the mastermind. Yeah.
Berserker's like, I like this jungler. He doesn't tell me to do anything.
Berserker is that Toy Story meme where he's dropping the toy down. He's like, I'm not playing with you, Inspired. I got a new jungler. He comes down and ganks his level 4 Nocturne. I like that. Top lane right now, we see Contracts fighting against Dokla. Pops a Ragnarok, but he's in a 1v3. Shopify surely have the damage this time around, but Dokla makes it a 1-for-1. Not too shabby from Big Doke.
That is crazy. For a second there, I thought he might have actually had the damage to survive and kill off Contracts, but does get taken down. But in a 1v3 with no flash, he just got a kill. And LYON are laughing because they're taking the dragon on the other side. They're already dominating in the bot lane. And Dokla soaks all that pressure and comes up with the kill.
And this was the lane that they had picked to try to get ahead, right? Like, this is the lane that Shopify really wanted to have counter pick. The ult comes down, Zinni just shows up here. And then, yeah, he just does so much damage.
Sheesh.
Yep, I mean, that is pretty crazy. He put quite a bit of damage into Contracts at the start, obviously.
Rainover is also laughing.
The coach cams tell 2 very different stories.
He thought he could get the second.
Man, he really wished. He thought he had more, and Shopify will punish him this time around, so they finally get a kill on the Big Dokes.
Dokla there saying Fudge, the top laner that he's playing against.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's, I think, because, you know, they sent B-Boy up here, right? Because he's just like, look, I can't. Yeah. This Lucian is murdering me.
Down.
But yeah, getting a little bit back for Shopify in this top lane. But, I mean, LYON are still in such a great position. Having this accelerated Lucian, it's another really easy early Drake take. And that is what ended up killing Shopify, was they weren't able to push their advantages into a lot of objective gets in the early to mid game when they did have advantages. And
first paranoia of the game, and it's set up by Saint. Flashes in for the stun. Rather just walks up, drops the tippers down. Either way, it's a kill over to Isles for LYON as they make the play happen mid lane.
That was beautifully done, and I was wondering, okay, I want to see Armeo's first ult, how comfortable he is initiating with the team. Super well set up by Saint, immediately gets the stun down, combo with the Nocturne, immediately is able to rotate onto the Grubs. LYON are just taking over the entire early game.
And Saint, you know, I have rarely seen individual gold advantages that big. That was the 3rd highest in LCS history for mid laners.
Yes.
Wow.
Did you hear who he's behind?
No, who is he
They
behind?
said it was Bjergsen, and wait for it, a Blaze Olive were the 2
Wow,
others with the
okay.
higher individual gold leads.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. I wonder what they were playing, you know, if it was something that was like fake gold, like TF or something like that.
Or maybe like the back in the jungle funnel meta when mid laners would go like Taric or something.
That one doesn't count.
No.
maybe.
We're taking those away retroactively. Any and all records achieved through funneling. Strict from the record books.
Yep.
Well, you know, Emily, you were talking about how they couldn't take advantage of the the edges that they had in game 1 for Shopify. Good news for them. No edges to worry
Yeah,
about.
they have to come from behind to win.
Don't have to worry about that now.
These are some blunt edges
Yeah.
right now.
Hitting them with a wooden spoon.
On the flip side of that, you do have a Lucian that's up 1K over your MF
And
with
he
died
has
3 times.
some pretty good items. You look over at the other side and you see steel caps and some scraps that will eventually become a BT, but it's an early Essence Reaver. He's already working towards the second item. Berserker is monster fed, and you're playing with an Enchanter, so it's very easy to utilize that lead to play more aggressively because of all of the help that is going to be behind him there from Isles.
Yeah, you got your plated steel caps in your support, essentially, with the shields coming in, the healing coming in as well. But I will say, Zeyzal said it himself. We said it already. It's going to be a jungle diff game. Hey, look at that contracts. That's 90 gold lead in the jungle. Just got to point it out.
That is true.
Saying
However,
there's a chance.
You're not wrong.
Look, my eyes see numbers on the screen. My mouth repeats the numbers.
Yeah, you can read them out.
I can read.
I would argue
Uh-huh.
that Armeo actually has had a little bit more of an impact with his bot lane gank.
Okay.
That's kind of messed up.
And his
Why would
really
you
That
argue
good
hurts my
that?
feelings.
After
ultimate
Kangas just
mid
tried his absolute
after
best.
the setup. I mean, we're all about using statistics in our favor, aren't we?
True.
To support our own narrative.
You know what? I support
if we're
this.
doing that,
Yeah.
So you've caved,
you've
Emily.
turned me into a
Emily
demon.
has changed.
Yeah, no, this is a win
Her
either way for me.
journalistic
This is a win
integrity.
for
It
me
only
either
took
way.
one
Yeah.
Out
cast
the
with
window,
Kangas.
guys.
One
It's
cast with
dead.
Kangas. She no longer cares.
It has nothing to do with the fact that her stats are also enforcing
That's
the correct
just the power of
narrative.
Kangas.
Nothing
Power
to
of
do
the
with that.
Kangas.
Yep, the Kangle. It calls to us all.
The Kangas angle.
Yep. Usually that's when that's what
I
my
was going
friends
to say,
call
is
it when I
this some sort
Pantheon
of crazy
ults
support play? Yeah.
into the Baron solo while the enemy's taking
If
it.
you're my support, I'm murdering you for that.
Oh, it's a good thing we've never played League together. You want to play sometime?
Sure.
Been playing a lot of Classic lately. Pantheon support, let me tell you, not as good in League Classic, but
Yeah, now that I can
it's
play
neither here
again,
nor
my
there.
hand's no longer broken. I feel free.
Ooh,
You know?
unleashed. Solo Q will never be the same. LYON right now pushing in on the bottom lane here, trying to siege his turret, and I think that they might just have it. Remember that last game? It was like, what, 19 minutes? And the stats told us earlier it was the second longest first turret take in a Ziggs game.
Second latest.
Second
exactly.
latest, yeah, second latest turret in a Ziggs game. The other one was like just over 20 minutes. This time it looks like we're going to get that first turret a little faster, I'd have to imagine, if they keep pushing to this bottom side. But right now, Shopify are actually making a play here into the river. It's Zinni that goes in alone. The bolt time does a lot of damage. Saint gets out of there. Armeo takes out Zinni and still manages to get away. LYON hold the line as Shopify Rebellion have to retreat.
Yeah, Zinni's been studying those Loki Rise VODs.
Yeah,
That was a
looks
deep
a
realm
little
warp.
familiar. Realm warping into his doom. Honestly, like the fact that Armeo did recognize that he could move and get on the backline was also really nice.
Didn't even burn flash.
Saint did almost die there, right? So it got a tiny bit dicey, but again, this Lucian is such a strong point that they can play on the map. The setup for that was so good with them pushing in bot, immediately rotating onto Drake. They're in such a great position to basically force Shopify to do something that's ultimately going to be very risky, like that Realm Warp.
Yep.
Maybe not necessarily exactly where he wanted it to go, but
Ooh, second undertow misses, but the exhaust comes out. Dokla, we've seen this movie before. Flashes forward, the dredge line will land, but it's CC immune. Dokla's trying to run away. Zeyzal cannot get the last stick of damage in there. Dokla almost falls due to Zeyzal from the top rope coming in to interfere with the 1v1.
Yeah, very, very close there. Dokla did a good job using the Stride Breaker to just kite out that counter-strike. He leap strikes on you, he pops the counter-strike, but he Stride Breakers and just kind of runs away, hits the undertow slow as well, and then looks for that all-in.
Zinni's walking forward, trying to threaten with all the damage. It comes from a Catalyst plus an Empowered Merc Treads Rise.
Surprisingly, quite a lot.
yeah.
More than you would want it.
More than you would think.
Amount of damage, honestly.
The Cassante of mid lane.
Wow, he was the original. Isn't Cassante the Rise of top lane?
Is that what we call him?
Cassante has the meme,
Rise,
so
yeah.
so he takes precedence.
What
Cool.
what memes does Rise have?
Probably a lot of old ones.
Yeah.
He's
I'm
been
now
reworked
trying to
30
think.
times, you know?
Yeah, it was all the rework memes, but it's been a long time.
Yeah.
He's losing his memes. They're losing the power.
We're forgetting the meme. We're losing memes.
Yeah, exactly. Bjergsen, so he was actually playing Akali, and Blaze Olive was playing Tristana in the two biggest individual gold diffs in mid lane for LCS history. So
I want to go
wasn't
back
TF
to
or
see
anything
that
like
Akali game.
Yeah.
I
That
wonder
must
if it
have
was
been
that
a
playoff
monster.
one.
Yeah.
I have this playoff game from Bjergsen burned in my brain where he just monster carried.
Well, I have some action happening on screen in front of me right now as Contracts and Zeyzal are finding a pick in the side lane, and they will pull it off, but ooh, it's Zeyzal that takes the kill. Contracts not cashing out for that one, so Shopify at least gets something done.
Yeah, looking for a side lane play. Meanwhile, Berserker and Isles are going to take a few more plates off of this tier 1 turret mid. But again, like, this is what Shopify kind of have to do, right? Like, if they find someone alone in the side lane, can they make a play with Contracts? Can they make a play with this Rise as Armeo's going in?
Brenoy into the bottom lane. Ooh, great realm warp from Zinni to get out of there before the fear comes out from Armeo. So it's just an ult for ult trade.
Yeah, an ult for ult trade, but that's going to favor Zinni quite a bit, honestly, as Armeo's is a very important ult, and Zinni can still just continue to push this one right in. LYON, though, maintaining an over 3,000 gold lead. They still have not yet taken the first tower, but that is very likely to go their way. And you can see it is Saint heading out towards top lane, so they're trying to see if they can actually find an overload on one side of the map, find a kill onto Fudge, and look for that to be the catalyst to grab that first tower. And Fudge does have a read on the play, so he is just fully backed off and abandoned that top lane tower. They didn't actually get eyes on Saint, but no one is bot, and I think that is the key thing, is that they're trying to make plays on opposite side of the map and just no one showing up bot.
And this is going to end up going to be so good for LYON with Berserker being able to take down that mid tier 1, with Saints kind of faint towards topside to attempt the dive and Fudge backing off, them being able to take down this topside tier 1 as well and get immediately onto the Rift Herald.
I mean, this is a pretty rough trade for Shopify Rebellion. LYON get mid turret and top. They just TP'd Fudge into the bottom lane to now take that bottom outer turret, but Armeo's already on the Herald, so this is essentially a 1-for-2 turret trade plus the Herald in favor of LYON. They just cashed out big.
I mean, the tough part is they just couldn't defend, right? They weren't in the right position to defend. They were trying to look for a play on bot side. You know, Contracts was down there with Zinni, so they were expecting Saint's going to come down here. We're going to go for a 2v1, kill him off, but Saint doesn't show up there, so they have to abandon ship on the top side. They can't contest the Lucian, who's just so fed in the mid lane, so that's just kind of the reality of the situation.
Also, reminder, LCS Championship is heading to the ATL. That's in Atlanta at the Gas South Arena. Tickets are available now. Scan the QR code to grab them as Armeo goes in for the Paranoia top lane, but it's straight into the waiting arms of a support. Isles is here as well, so it's a 2v2 for now. Contracts now joining in. Zinni has lived for now, but Berserker's walking up the bullet time over the wall. Not in range for enough damage. Zinni falls. Flashes from Zeyzal and Contracts to get away, but their mid laner's already out of there. LYON find the play and even get that bottom turret. Dokla wasn't even with them.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the meantime, Dokla's just taking down this bot tier 1 all by himself. It's so impressive how LYON have played. Again, like, we were missing this from Shopify when they were in advantageous positions. Here, it's another ult coming in from Armeo, knowing that Berserker is going to be heading up.
And we see here during the replay, like, it's nice that Zeyzal's in the area, but Zinni still just doesn't have enough damage to turn onto Armeo.
I mean, Berserker's just so much stronger, right? Like, he got this early culling onto B-Boy, put him down to about half HP, sidesteps the hook.
Oh, yummy!
All right, now we're getting some fun reactions from Dokla. Now he's ready to have some fun on the Rift. Also want to point out, Azale, you were mentioning last time you've never seen a mid lane, gold differential that strong, and
rarely,
it was the third highest. Rarely it happens. What about 80 carry right now? Berserker's 3K ahead, and B-Boy hasn't even finished your little side quest here. He's not even getting as much gold on the minions.
3K you see from time to time.
You see it, like, actually pretty frequently.
Okay, fair enough. But the bigger thing is
a lot of lopsided 80 carry
Got some bad
games.
news for you, buddy.
Yeah.
I've never seen an 80 carry not have the role quest completed at 19 minutes. I think we're going to get there.
I'm going to guarantee you this isn't even in the top, like, 100 80 carry deficits.
What about got some bad news for you? You're breaking Kangas' little heart.
I am.
No, you don't even have the stats for this one. This is just your gut telling you
the quest is just sad. And also in that fight, you do see how difficult it is to set up for this MF because she's so far behind, right? Like, when you're picking the MF to try to be able to contest this 2v2, you ideally want to be able to maintain push
Ideally,
against,
don't get 2v2 kills
against the
right at the
Lucian
beginning of the
Milio.
game.
That didn't happen. They tried to rotate her in a different lane to try to catch up. That's easily matched. In these team fights, there's really little opportunity for her to get set up for a really good ult. And even then, she just does not have the damage that's coming out of this Lucian.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Dokla has not had to move for these fights because Shopify are so far behind. They're going to look for Berserker now, though.
Another Paranoid comes out. Shopify trying to get into the pit. They have their AD carry there to try and get forward to get some damage down. Fudge is almost out of their B-Boy, flashes the wall. Berserker still unleashed. He gets one. Can he get the second one? There it is. Will eventually fall to Contracts. Big shutdown there. But a double kill first means that LYON have already just sealed the fight. 4 members to 2. They push back Shopify and get the Dragon.
Pretty good angle, though, honestly, from Shopify. They got to go for something. They know they are just bleeding out in this game. They're losing all their camps. They're losing all the objectives. So they do get on the Berserker. They do take him down. Dokla maybe in a little trouble, but I think he should be fine.
Oh, can he actually chase him down here? No Ragnarok, no Flash, but Armeo's nearby. Also, Dragon definitely not coming up here for another 245. It just seemed like because we were in the pit, something else had happened right there. But either way, LYON find a big cash out. 7K gold lead for themselves. Let's just get another look at the replay there.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just an angle for Berserker. They're grouping up. They know they basically can't do anything except force fights, right? You are 5 members strong here. You're just trying to overload one side, trying to get in onto Berserker. But Berserker does a good job of delaying things, dashing over the wall. And Dokla is just running through the team. Yes, they eventually do get Berserker, but they've gotten stomped on the other side.
Where's my Leo? I can TV.
Where's my Helio?
Where's my
He
Helio?
flashed. He followed, man. He's trying his best over there.
Well, Isles flashed out first.
Yeah, he was. Isles was chased out of the fight a bit. Up.
No, Dokla right now, straight back to live, and they just run him down! B-Boy's out of there! It's a 5v2, and they can't even keep their AD carry alive. Dokla finds a double kill. Armeo's still alive. It's a slaughter for LYON. Right at the Baron, a clean ace for 1 trade, and they're going to start up the Purple Worm.
Can we get a hope check-in for Kangas here?
Kangas, how you feeling?
We're at about a 0% on the
yeah,
old home meter right now.
I was like, you know, they got onto Berserker. Like, you have a little glimmer of hope there.
See, the problem is that just meant that he could go back to base and spend all the gold that he picked up from the double kill as well. Yeah, that's 3 items completed on Berserker, and that
Saint's
was
gonna
a disgusting fight.
Also, during all of that, they also popped Rift Herald. Saint was able to pressure the top side wave and push it in to get tier 2.
Yeah.
10K at 22 minutes is pretty big, as Dokla has just been flexing his muscle in this game, got the early solo kill, and has been a menace in these team fights. Hasn't had to join in a lot of the fights, but when he has shown up, he has been such a problem. Yeah, he eventually does go down, but again, he's just standing, fighting, soaking up all of that damage, and still walking away with kills. And then Saint has been great with the follow-up. Him and Armeo feel like they are on point with these engages.
Yeah, and I gotta say, Armeo well under that 5.5 deaths.
Yeah, Kangas, I think
currently
you
at the
lost
big
that
donut
one.
I did tell you that.
Yeah.
I think you both were pretty correct for your predictions. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
We have had
Good
a
LCS
higher,
analyst.
combined kills per minute in this game.
True.
However, Armeo has died a total of 0 times.
25 kills at 23 minutes, just under.
We're back. We're so back.
We're so
to
back.
Week 1 LYON.
Yeah. I mean, that game number 1 for today was much slower, but last week we saw some high-octane gameplay. Already in this game, too, at the start, we could tell it was going to happen again when Berserker and Isles dove B-Boy and Zeyzal for that early play. Berserker has not really let up since then. As the Dragon is spawning now, that is Soul for LYON, and I do not see a world where Shopify can contest. They're not even going to leave their tier 2 turret lines. As you look at also
Isles
the total
has as much gold as Fudge.
Wow.
Oh,
That
that's
is-
not ideal.
That is definitely not ideal.
Fudge got the counter pick.
There you go.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, as Dragon Soul is
I
going.
was waiting for you to follow
No,
up
no,
on
I just
that.
wanted to point it out.
No,
Just
no.
wanted
That is
to
unfortunate.
remind
Alright,
everybody.
Okay.
That's accurate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not great.
Sometimes you just make statements.
I do want to point out, I have really enjoyed the synergy between Armeo and Saint. I think Armeo has had, like, pretty quietly a really good Nocturne game. Again, I was wondering what would happen as
Big
B-Boy
only comes
loses.
in, Zeyzal flashes away, just tries to keep his AD carry alive and will give up his life in the process. And he can't even accomplish the mission. Dokla just runs past everybody, chases down the 80 carry. That is a rampage for Saint. This is the end of the game. LYON slaughter Shopify Rebellion in their own base. It's only one member left alive. In the battle of who wins between the junglers, Contracts will have to watch as his team falls around him, and the minions will march into the turrets. LYON with the Baron-empowered wave will make quick work of Shopify Rebellion. The Kings of the Jungle quell the rebellion. LYON take the series 2-0 against Shopify, as they'll even take down Contracts and Zeyzal to boot. GG, LYON 2-0.